Welcome back. In today's video, we are going to learn about CSS Flexbox. Web design often involves the challenge of arranging and aligning various elements. Thankfully, there is a solution called Flexbox that simplifies this process and makes our lives easier. By following this tutorial, you will gain a solid understanding of Flexbox and how to use it effectively in your web design projects. Now let's get started. First thing first, what is Flexbox? So Flexbox is a CSS layout module that provides an easy and efficient way to create flexible and responsive web page layouts. With Flexbox, we can easily align and distribute elements within a container, making it simple to create both simple and complex designs. It offers various properties that allow us to control the dimensions, spacing, and positioning of element on the page. Applying Flexbox to our website design can greatly simplify the process of creating dynamic layout. Now the Flexbox layout is a valuable tool for creating flexible and responsive layout structures. It eliminates the need of older methods like float and positioning techniques, making the design process much simpler. With this module, we can easily create dynamic layouts that adapt to different screen sizes and devices. Flexbox is incredibly intuitive and perfect for both simple and intricate designs. Before Flexbox layout module, we had only access to 4 layout modes. Block mode was used for creating sections on a web page, while inline mode was suitable for formatting text. The table mode allowed for organizing data in a two-dimensional table format, and the position mode enabled precise positioning of elements on a web page. Designing layout using these modes proved to be challenging, and that is why Flexbox comes in and it makes our lives much easier, and you will see when we are going to use this in practice. But why should I bother with Flexbox? You might ask. Great question. Flexbox is incredibly powerful. It helps you distribute space evenly among elements, align them precisely, and handle different screen sizes gracefully. Whether you are building a responsive website or a flexible component, Flexbox has got you covered. Before Flexbox, it was difficult to achieve these things like aligning a block of content vertically within its parent container. And the second thing is ensuring that all the children of a container occupy an equal portion of the available width and height regardless of the total width height available. And the third thing that was difficult to do is ensuring that all columns in a multiple column layout maintain uniform height even when their content quantities differ. Now while using Flexbox, we have Flex Container and Flex Items. Now let's break it down. In Flexbox, there are two key components, the Flex Container and Flex Items. Containers serve as a convenient way to organize and display a group of items. What's fascinating is that these items have the ability to adjust their size, expand or shrink, and even reorganize themselves dynamically to fit the available space. This feature adds an element of magic to the layout design process. To make use of Flexbox, we can start by applying the Flex property to a container element, and then this will allow all the items within that container to become Flex items. Now another important thing that we need to know while using Flexbox is that when elements are arranged as Flex items, they are positioned along two axes. The main axis aligns with the direction in which the Flex items are organized. For example, a row across the page or column down the page. Its beginning and end are referred to as the main start and main end. Now the second one is the cross axis. The cross axis runs perpendicular to the direction of Flex items layout. Its beginning and end point are called cross start and cross end. The parent element within the display flex property applied is denoted as the flex container. The elements organized as flexible boxes within the flex container are known as flex items. Now when working with Flexbox, there are several properties that can be applied to either the flex container or the flex items. These properties allow for flexible positioning and control over the layout of elements within a container. In this video, we are going to learn about those properties that we can use on our flex container, and these properties are flex direction, flex wrap, flex flow, justify content, align items, align content. Now let's put theory into practice. Now to explain this concept even better, I just created this example for you. Here you can see we have this UL element, and in which we have these 4 list elements, which is apple, orange, mango and banana. Now what we are going to do, we are going to make this UL container a flex container so that I can show you how this flex property can work. Now to make this UL container a flex container, we simply need to use display property, and then we just need to set its value to flex. Now after changing this value, you can see our flex items are now side by side, and this is the default behavior of flex items when you set the display of parent element to flex. After setting display value to flex, this is how flex item align themselves in their flex container. Now after setting this flex property, we can use different properties on our flex container, which is this UL, and these properties as we discussed earlier, and these properties are flex direction, flex wrap, flex flow, justify content. We can use all these properties after changing the display of our container to flex. Now the first property is the flex direction property, and this flex direction property is used to determine how the flex items within a container should be stacked, and it allows us to specify whether the item should be stacked horizontally or vertically, giving us full control over the direction in which they are arranged. Now after setting this flex property, we have these different values. We can set it to column, or we can set it to column reverse, row and row reverse. Now let's see what happened if I change this value to column. Now after changing this flex direction property to column, you can see now these are arranged as they were arranged before, like without using this display flex and flex direction prop. Now we can also set other values like column reverse, and now after setting this to column reverse, you can see they are in opposite order. Before, first we have apple, orange, mango and banana, and now they are in reverse order. And here first we have banana, mango, orange and apple. And by using this property, we can basically change the order of our flex items. Now the next one is this row property, and as you can see, this is not working because our elements are already arranged in a row, so we don't need to use this property. Now the next one is row reverse. Now after changing this to row reverse, you can see now the order is reversed, and now first we have banana, then we have mango, then we have orange and then apple. And if I remove this, you can see the order is first we have apple, orange, mango and banana. So by using row reverse and column reverse, we can basically change the order of our flex items. Now after this flex direction property, we have our justify content property, and on justify content property we have these different values. We have this baseline, center, end, first baseline, flex end, flex start, last baseline, and a lot of others like space around, space between and space evenly. But more often we use these properties like space between, space around, space evenly, or we just use center. Now our main axis is right here in this horizontal direction, so this property is used to center our flex items horizontally. Now we can also use space between property. Now by using space between, you can see now these items have some space between each of them, and like this space between property, we have also space around property. Now by using this, we have some space around these flex items, but most often we just use justify content and we Just use the value center to make our item horizontally center on our web page. And next up we have our flex wrap property. Now this is used to control the wrapping behavior of flex items. It determines whether the item should wrap onto multiple lines or remain on a single line. By default, flex item will try to fit into a single line, but if there is not enough space, they will wrap onto additional lines. The flex item property allows you to explicitly specify whether wrapping should occur or not. Now this is how this flex wrap property works. Now I want you to notice what happens without flex wrap property. If I reduce the width of my browser window, you can see our flex items are not wrapping right now. And here at the bottom you can see the scroll bar which is added, and now our items are also overflowing from our container because this banana item is now outside of our container. So to avoid this, we have this flex wrap property and we can set its value to wrap like this. Now after setting its value, you can see now our items are wrapping in our flex container. Now after flex wrap, we have this flex flow property, and this flex flow property is a shorthand in CSS for conveniently setting both the flex direction and flex wrap properties at the same time. This makes it easy to control the flow and wrapping behavior of flexible items within a flex container. Now this is how we can use this property. First, write the name of this property, which is flex flow. Then first thing that we can specify is our flex direction, which I want to change to column, and then flex wrap, we can set it to wrap like this. And this is how we can use both flex direction and flex wrap property by using this single property. And now I want to show you align item property by using these developer tools. What happened if we set different values? Now if I set this align items to baseline, you can see nothing is changing on our screen because our items are already on top. So if I set it to center, you can see now these items are vertically centered in this container. And if I change it to end, now our items are at the end of our flex container. If I set to flex end, this will do the same thing, and that is why these are at the same position. We can also set its value to start. Now these are at the start, and after this we have this initial property which also do the same thing, that to align our item at the top of our parent container. Then we have normal and then revert, and then on self end you can see now these are at the bottom of our container. Then we have self start, which is also doing the same thing. Then we have simple start, stretch, unset, and these are the values that we can use on this align item property. And that's it. Now in this video we learned about the properties that we can use on our flex container. Now in the upcoming video I will show you the properties that we can use on these flex items that are inside of our flex container. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to join this exciting web development journey with us. And if you have any questions or suggestions, you can put those in the comment section below. Until next time, keep coding and keep creating. I will see you in the next video.